US President Donald Trump has warned that the US naval blockade against Iran could last months, as he urged Tehran to get smart soon and sign a deal.
He said that talks with the Islamic Republic are now being conducted by phone. Speaking to reporters at the White House, Trump reiterated that any agreement would depend on Iran fully abandoning its nuclear ambitions.
We're not going to let Iran have a nuclear weapon. And we've knocked out their Navy, we've knocked out their Air Force, we've knocked out their anti-aircraft, everything, apparatus, everything they have, their radar. They have very little left. And they have some missiles, a small percentage. They have a small percentage of missile-making facilities. We knocked out about 80% of them. The rest could come very quickly if we don't make a deal. They're not going to have a nuclear weapon. They know it, and just about everybody else does.
Trump believes that a blockade is a key strategy to force Iran to abandon its nuclear program. It prompted oil prices to spike to their highest level in 4 years. Brent crude futures soared another 7.6% to $120 a barrel, which is the highest price since the early days of the Ukraine war in 2022.
Now, Iranian Parliament Speaker Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf predicted on social media that it will climb to $140 a barrel, going on to frame Washington's approach as strategically incoherent.
Now, during a meeting with all executives, Trump argued that the blockade is more effective than bombing. And this even as an Axios report suggests that U.S. Central Command is prepared for a short and powerful wave of strikes on Iran's Deputy Foreign Minister Saeed Khatibzadeh said war is not a solution to resolve the ongoing crisis, stressing that diplomacy remains the only viable path forward amid a stalemate in talks. Meanwhile, Russian President Vladimir Putin also warned against military action on Iran. Now, in more than a 90-minute-long call with Donald Trump on Wednesday, he highlighted the inevitable and extremely damaging consequences, not only for Iran and its neighbors, but also the international community should the U.S. with Israel sought to strike once again.
He also said Russia was firmly committed to providing every possible assistance to diplomatic efforts on the West Asia war. Trump said Putin offered to help U.S. handle Iran's enriched uranium as part of a potential nuclear deal.
He told me he'd like to be involved with the enrichment if he can help us get it. I said I'd much rather have you be involved with ending the war with Ukraine.
And now joining us live on the broadcast is Lieutenant Colonel Daniel L. Davis from Sterling. He's a military expert and host of Daniel Davis Deep Dive on YouTube. Thank you so much, Colonel Davis, for joining us on the broadcast. Now, there's a lot to unpack here, and I'm curious to know that if these short and powerful wave of strikes, they actually do take place, do you think it could materially change enough to bring back Iran to the negotiating table, ready to, agree to Washington's demands?
Yeah, the thing about it we got to understand is that Iran is at the table. They're just not agreeing to the basically demands for surrender that the United States is asking them to do. They're not going to do that. And another round of strikes is not going to coerce them to do what the first 40 days of strikes did not do, but it will also prompt Iran to strike much more valuable targets around our allies in the region, the GCC countries, as well as Israel, attacking targets that they hadn't struck before. So I think that it would only backfire. It would not cause them. I think that we need to be clear that the Iranians know how to suffer, and they are well aware of what the cost is going to be to this, but they calculate that the cost to the United States and our allies is higher than what it is for them to if this continues on for a while. So they don't want to give in to that, and another round of strikes is not going to result in it. So I hope that they don't do that, take that path.